Are you a chai lover? I know I am. I even have a chai tattoo. Well, if you make your own chai, you'll definitely be familiar with this common problem when cooking up your chai on the stove. No! Look familiar? I thought so. Well, imagine if you could cook up your chai every morning and it never ever boils over. This is the Loka chai maker, set to take the world of chai by storm. And these are the inventors. Introducing Anish and Nikhil. Not only are these guys clearly super cool and stylish, they're also very clever because they've come up with a product that is going to solve all our chai making problems. Before we get deep into the video, make sure you click on the link in the description box to find out how you can pre-order your very own Loka chai maker. Come with me on a journey.
Here we go.
Where we learn about this revolutionary product.
There's a lot of engineering and deep thought that's gone into making it.
And discover a story.
This is where it all started.
Uncovering the highs and lows.
Oh dear.
I was diagnosed with cancer.
Of the inventors.
If we knew what we know now about how hard this would have been, I don't think we would have made the product.
Wow.
Love it.
Let's go.
Yeah, take me through it. Take me through it.
Great. So first things first, take our chai mix, put that into the chai maker, and then if you take the water and put that in, and then after that, if you take the milk.
Very beautiful, ornate jug.
So it works, of course, with all types of milk, regular milk, plant milk, oat milk. A lot of people love oat milk chai these days.
Cool. And then now that's on, you just literally turn on your stove.
Well, that was easy.
There you go.
Fountain time.
So yeah, you get the brew coming up and pouring over the top of the basket.
Wow.
Strainer and then straight back in again. There you go. That's the Loka chai fountain
Wow.
in effect.
I mean, that looks really cool.
I'm glad you think so, Lally.
Looks
We think so too. The design of the curve on the outer part of the upper lip is there to shape so that it directs the foam upwards and inwards again.
First of all, how did you guys both meet?
We've known each other for years, over 20 years. We met through mutual friends, then we ended up at university together in Cambridge. It was really our mutual love of music, basketball, and obviously Indian food and chai that connected us.
Something I didn't mention earlier, which was always one thing that I found annoying after cooking up my chai, was the fact that the pot was a nightmare to clean. But with the Loka chai maker, these guys have made it super simple. So put that in the dishwasher, or if you don't have a dishwasher like me, we'll clean that properly. Yeah, that comes off like super easily. Look at that. So I guess that means no more soaking pots for hours or even days on end. Thank God. Let's talk about your journey making the chai maker, okay? What made you think of the idea?
Oh man, so I'll probably tell that one first.
You start.
In 2020, I was diagnosed with cancer, which was hugely traumatic, was a lot, to process. And I was going through chemotherapy and radiotherapy treatment at the time. And the one thing that made me feel human again was drinking chai. So I'd be making it at home, putting it on the boil, and then having to strain it, and then it was making a mess of it, and then it was constantly boiling over onto the stove. And I thought to myself, there had to be a way to make this better, in a better way. And I can't be the only person who has this problem, was sort of the things that went through my head. And at that time as well, Nikhil was then coming to visit me as well, because it was lockdown. We weren't allowed to meet, but actually Nikhil, being the good friend he was, we'd go for socially distanced walks outside.
Because you mentioned about these walks that you would go on together, perhaps we should take a trip down memory lane and go for a walk all together, and maybe it will trigger some further memories on your thought process. Ready for a trip down memory lane with the Loka lads? So we're in Paddington Cemetery. How does it feel to be back?
It feels a bit weird actually.
Emotional?
yeah, a little bit emotional. This is where it all started. This is where we came up with the idea for the Loka chai maker.
But more importantly, this is where you were recovering.
Yeah, where I was recovering as well. I remember actually where the conversation happened.
Oh, let's go there.
Well, it's where the traffic codes are. But essentially, I could tell you actually what happened. We were literally walking into the entrance. And
But can we contextualise it? So Anish would make chai at home, and then we'd walk with the cups and we'd drink chai here. We'd actually walk through the park and the cemetery with our chai and drink here.
I'd make one with Nick, one for me, and then we'd walk through.
Because he lives around the corner.
Yeah.
and walking through there, and then sort of, I was talking to Nikhil and saying, oh, it's really such a pain to make, and he was saying, oh yeah, it's the same for me as well. And then I think we both looked at each other being like, why has no one solved this? And then it kind of just started from there, the conversation.
But that's why, like, having that chai, drinking it here while walking, and I think there's something about movement, right? Like, all your best ideas come when you're walking.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, definitely.
We were having these walks and we were drinking chai a few occasions. What we often used to say was that if you look at the coffee world, there's like a new coffee invention. Literally every month there's some new coffee invention. And then we looked at chai, which is obviously drunk by hundreds of millions of people around the world, and it's still boiled in a pot. And we just thought, this is like really bizarre. For us, it was really important to stay true to the authentic method, using loose leaf tea, using real spices, real ingredients, but just giving people a better way. So the other thing is, we found that a lot of people were compromising with chai tea bags and instant chai. And again, using the coffee analogy, we live in a world now where it's like sacrilegious to drink instant coffee. And we kind of like want to change the chai world in the same way. We don't want people to be compromising with instant chai. So we want to our mission was to bring real authentic chai to people with that real authentic method of making it on a stovetop so it fills your kitchen with the aroma, but to make it easier.
How long have you both been drinking chai, and where does your love of chai come from?
We've both had chai our whole lives. I mean, growing up in Indian households in the UK, I mean, chai was one of those things that our parents and aunties and grandmothers used to make for us, on a regular basis. For me, it's been a smell. It's been something I've tasted, enjoyed for, close to 40 years.
Wow, so since you were a baby. Yeah. For me, I grew up in a 3-generation household. So it was my parents, my grandparents, me and my brother. So chai was always around. I think it was a daily ritual.
In the early days of experimenting, Anish was testing out if it was possible to use a mocha pot to brew chai, with interesting results.
Oh dear. Well, that didn't work as well as expected.
And for those who think inventing a product is easy, just look at how many prototypes these guys have gone through.
You can see that there's a lot of engineering and deep thought that's gone into making it, as you can see with the designs here. So
we've got this base pot, which has got this beautiful curve. Put a lot of time into thinking about the proportions of the curve of the bottom part, the neck, and the kind of overall lip at the top. The top section separates out, and then the strainer slots in and out of that top section. Then we've got this beautiful handle. A lot of thought went into how do you make this really ergonomic, easy to hold, easy to lift, easy to pour. Oh, actually, the other thing with that, with the upper lip, we were talking about this yesterday with our designer, is that it's got this kind of unbroken 360-degree design. So you can actually pour it from any angle, any side.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, a lot of things, you take this jug, it has to have a spout.
Yeah.
But actually, every part of this lip is essentially a spout.
the reality is that we feel like there's no other product that looks as beautiful as this. We're probably biased because we would say that it took us 3 years to make. But we spent a lot of time and effort in the design and the thoughtfulness of the shape to make sure that every part of the curve and every part of the silhouette of the product is in just the right place.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not allowed to say this, you have to wait for someone else to say that about your own product, but I think it looks iconic. But hopefully someone else will say it's iconic, and then we're allowed to say that.
I think it looks iconic.
Officially iconic.
Officially iconic now. Yeah.
No, I can't wait to have this in my home, honestly. What have been your biggest challenges inventing this product?
I'd say the biggest challenge really was trying to find a way to actually continue and stay true to the form of making chai and the heritage of South Asian culture, and bringing it into the 21st century in a way that really solves all those problems that everyone has.
I would say the biggest challenge we had was solving that fundamental problem that chai always boils over onto your stove. And in order to stop it boiling over onto your stove, you have to kind of end up hovering over the pot. And everyone always complains that it just takes way too much time because you can't multitask. So you end up like staying in the kitchen, you run back to the stove to turn it down, then you turn it up again for a second brew. So it's this kind of cat and mouse game. So we really wanted to solve that problem by delivering this simple promise to our consumers that with the Loka chai maker, it's guaranteed to not boil over onto your stove. It's a wonderful promise to make, but to actually deliver on that promise, the engineering and design innovations, all the different rounds of iteration and testing, it was a lot of work. Yeah. Actually, to be honest with you, way more work than we thought when we had those first walks in when Anish was sick. And
yeah, sure.
It's funny because I've been working with startups and building companies for a while now, and you always say as an outsider to a category, you kind of that's how you can come in and start and create new ideas. If we knew what we know now about how hard this would have been, I don't think we would have made the product.
Wow.
The other challenge was convincing my auntie that this was going to make a chai that was as good, if not better, than hers. Sorry, auntie, I just have to say that because I remember
biggest challenge.
Yeah, the biggest challenge actually, in fact. Because I remember when I showed my auntie the prototype for the first time, and she was sort of looking at me confused, sort of saying, "This is never going to make a chai that's as good as mine." And then she sipped mine for the first time, and I remember her eyes just sort of going, and she was sort of then sold. So auntie, this is for you.
The Loka Chai Maker is live on Kickstarter right now. Click the link in the description box below to place your order. I hope you enjoyed this video with myself, Anish and Nikhil. If you like the video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and please, please, please pre-order your Loka Chai Maker on Kickstarter to get this business going. Apart from that, take care. Goodbye.